Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Raising the Vibration with Sheena Metal, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hi, it's Raising the Vibration right here on LA Talk Radio, and I am your host, Sheena Metal. Raising the Vibration is an outreach of a movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity that I started on November 9th, 2016, my mother's birthday. It's called I Am Raising the Vibration of the Nation and the World, or as it is now known, the RaisingTheVibration.org movement. We're at raisingthevibration.org, obviously at IamRaisingTheVibration.com, and our blog and vlog is at avibratonnation.com, because it's a vibration nation, my friends. Also, our online community, which we like to call the Vibration Nation, is at thevibratonnation.com. And soon we're going to be launching a couple of outreaches. One is womenraisingthevibration.com, our women's branch. We're going to be launching Lightworkers Raising the Vibration, which is my kind of a hub of spiritual practitioners that I'm collecting. And then for my entire paranormal and spiritual community, the Vibration Universe will be launched. Those three things will be happening within the next year. Very excited. And of course, maybe the most exciting of all for me right now, I'm just giddy about my new spiritual practice at IamRaisingYourVibration.com and at SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. Please find me there. So sometimes either on my Haunted Playground shows here, which are Tuesdays from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Pacific time, my daily show, The Sheena Metal Experience, Monday through Fridays, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time, or here every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. We're doing the Raising the Vibration show. I do special broadcasts of something I like to call Lightworkers Unite, which is basically I bring another light worker or light workers on the show, and we do spiritual readings, psychic readings, mediumship readings, spiritual counseling, healings, whatever it is you need, we take care of your needs. And to get on the air with us for something free, 818-437-0886. That's my cell phone. You text me, and then I get you on the air. We call you and put you up on the air. So name and number to 818-437-0886. Tonight, making her debut on Lightworkers Unite, but has been a guest on many shows of mine here at LA Talk Radio, including this one. She's also on the Vibration Council and on my board of directors for the RaisingTheVibration.org movement, and my best friend in the whole world, the wonderful Elais Weiss, is here. Welcome to Lightworkers Unite for the first time, my friend. It's great to have you.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
It's wonderful to have you here and to have you so involved in every aspect of my life. You just can't get rid of me.
I wouldn't want to.
Isn't that? Yeah. You know, for all the people in my life, and there are some folks, for all the people in my life who've been like, I don't like you because of this and that, I always think, but LA likes me, and she's known me the longest and has to deal with me the most and knows the most stuff about me and still likes me. So either something's very wrong with you or not that much is wrong with me, or both.
Maybe there's just something really wrong with both of us. Who knows?
It's a strange thing, right? I don't know. I guess I think there's something about my over-brimming exuberance and joy for everything that irritates people, much like people were irritated by the Roger Rabbit character in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Well, that's true. I mean, people do get annoyed by that, but that doesn't, well, I was going to say, that doesn't seem to be what people usually get annoyed with or whatever, but of course, when you started doing this, the whole raising the vibration and all that, you got a lot of flack.
I did, because people didn't want to raise the vibration.
Nobody wants to talk about love and light and positivity.
Yeah.
Really?
Somebody said, we're at war.
I think I'll go shoot myself now and just be done with it.
It's a war. I got a big news flash for everybody. In the United States, the war did not begin on November 9th, 2016. The Raising the Vibration movement did, but the war did not begin then. The war against things in humanity, against those that are focused on self and those that are focused on making the world a better place, that is a battle as old as humanity itself. From the very first time that that the Neanderthal, one Neanderthal wanted to hoard all of the boar that they had just killed, and the other one wanted to cook it and share it with everyone. This struggle in humanity is nothing new, and it's certainly nothing new in our country, but people act like it just got invented like a couple of years ago. Like, well, now we need to be so angry. And it's like, well, but we always should have been like, but what about these people that just care about themselves? Because we're not about that. Let's care about everyone. But, don't look at me. I just work here. So,
well,
what are we going to do?
What can you do?
Exactly. So to get on the air with us, see, Elai's awesome and fun. You're going to love this. And she's a Leo, so she won't take anybody's crap, but she's amazing. She'll gently not take your crap. I have a friend who comes on the show, and he likes to talk about current event things and really freak out about current event things that can be kind of outrageous. And the first time he was here, afterwards, people were like, wow, was that too harsh? So he calls it lovingly discussing. He's like, I want to come back on your show and lovingly discuss some things in the news. So I think that you're sort of a lovingly discussing reader, because I think that you're very open, you're very honest, and you're very direct, but in a very loving way. Lovingly discussing.
Lovingly discuss. That works.
Lovingly
that
discussing.
Sounds about right.
So if you want to get a lovingly discussed reading from Elais and me, 818-437-0886. Just send me a text, and I am happy to put you on the list. And Maureen is going to be first. And this is how it works. You call up, you ask any question you want, you tell us what you need, how we can help, and then we help, hopefully, or we do our darndest to help. And that's how it goes. So I haven't done this in a little while with somebody not in the studio. So I sort of just have to reacquaint myself with Skype and remember how it works. Now I know. Now I remember how it works. Here we go. Skype is a tricky person.
Hope we can all hear everybody.
Everybody will be able to hear everybody. Watch how this goes. Watch how amazing this is. You're going to love it. This is fantastic.
We love experimentation.
No, I've done this many times. It's just lately, all my light workers have been in studio for some reason. You'll have to come up sometime and do it in studio when you're not with child.
I suppose technically I could have, because...
You could have.
The husband was home.
Yes,
he stayed home sick.
You could have done this today with me.
Maybe. I still had to pick her up from school.
Maureen, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Hi. Thank you. You are just the best.
Thank you, my friend. Say hi to Elais, and how may we help you?
Hi,
hello.
I'm another Leo here who's been a gypsy for the past year. Sheena's been helping me along the way.
Anything, sweetheart, for you.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was enjoying the empath talk a few minutes ago on your other show, Sheena, and
right.
I was relating to my new place, but I'm just kind of wondering where my gypsy shoes are taking me next.
Oh, okay. You want to do this, Elais? You want me to do this?
You can go ahead and get started.
Well, I can,
because right before you said gypsy shoes, I saw feet.
Well, I can tell you that your gypsy shoes are taking you out of Southern California, and I know that you're going kicking and screaming, but the universe is literally getting the hook and pulling you out of Southern California.
I know, and I'm actually starting to look again at other spots.
Good.
So yeah, I'm feeling the pull because I'm miserable. I rested up for like 6 weeks here, and now I'm thinking I have to go again.
Yes, and you're going north.
It seems like, I was just going to say, it seems like it's north but a little east. So, like as I see it on a map, it's like kind of north and east a little, like, Colorado or, kind of, I'm feeling a pull that way. So not all the way to the northeast, but not directly north, somewhere not too far from here. I don't know if that's someplace you've considered.
I've been looking at Oregon.
Okay, well that's directly north, but and it's depending on where you go, it's very scenically different. But yeah, I don't know. I feel it a little bit more east though. I don't know. It might be something you want to look into. I don't know if you know anyone there or.
Yeah. In Colorado.
Yeah, in Colorado, because it feels drier to me than like Oregon. same terrain kind of thing, but not, it's hard to describe because of the feeling. It's like I saw kind of going, a little more east, more Colorado-ish, or what, I should know better, Idaho-ish kind of a thing.
North Dakota-ish. I had to say North Dakota-ish because that's my that's my thing. But that doesn't, just because that's my thing, Sweet, doesn't mean you agree to do that.
Yeah, no, but to me it's like nice and green and everything like most of Oregon is, or a lot of Oregon is, but I don't know, I just don't feel it being so close to the coast. Anyway, it's just another option to look into, but yeah, I don't think it feels, I don't know. Hold on a second.
Maureen, let me ask you this.
Coming up soon. This is just what I was thinking. I was just trying to get like the move is it's gonna come pretty quickly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like once you pinpoint the spot, it's gonna come pretty quickly. And where you go next, I don't know if this is good news for you or not. I don't think you're going to stay there very long. I think you'll stay there and then move again
to your forever place
within a pretty short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, how can I keep
It'll be
doing
okay
this,
though. But the thing is, it feels to me like it's really natural. Like you go where you're first going to go is there's something you need to get from there. Like from that experience, somebody you need to meet. That's going to kind of. It sounds, I get things a lot visually, and for these weird things that I have to try to describe, it's almost like a pinball machine is what I'm seeing. So it's like you go in the direction that you're going to go, and then you kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of ping off this person, and it sends you to the next place, and it all feels really natural and, really easy, so it's a good flow, but it directs you to the next place that feels more grounded and where you put down roots. It's just, it might not feel that way in the process, but that's what I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah, the reason that I always think of North Dakota, LA, is because that's where Maureen is from. And I think sometimes you got to go home for a little while and readjust and then figure out what your forever place is. Because I think it's hard to find your forever place when you feel like a gypsy and you're living in sort of a state of chaos. So there's sometimes,
and I know a lot of people who've done that. I do know someone else who does that. And she just ended up going back home after a lot of gypsying. She was settled in Texas for a while, and then she just went back to Idaho, which is her home, after many years. I think it makes sense, especially if you feel like there's any unfinished business or just anything still from there that needs to be healed.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me, because it does feel like, okay, so I'm not getting what it's about, but what I am getting is that whatever was unsettling, or whatever reason you decided to leave home, or the combination of things that made you decide to leave home, it is a good idea to go back there at some point before you get settled, whether, it might be an in-betweeny, like, roundabout way of going to the next place, but and I don't know how long it's been since you've been there, but go to the places where you feel healing needs to happen, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is when something happens, whether it's just a trauma or just bad memories or, whatever, if it's family stuff, what have you, in our minds and in our emotions, those get locked in time. And if you leave, they're still locked in time in you, but the location isn't locked in time. So if you go to those places and just sit in them and be in that environment, and you see how time has moved on there, family stuff, what have you, that it kind of unlocks it in time and in your emotions, and it's easier to let it go, because you're like, oh, right, the world did move on. It's only still like, I don't know, 2005 or whenever something happened. It's only that to me, but the rest of the world moved on, and this doesn't exist anymore, except for in my memories and my emotions.
Right.
And so it's a really good way to heal, just by sitting in a place and realizing, oh, it's over,
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about
Well, I've been
now
away
I can
from,
do something else.
I've been away from North Dakota and Minnesota since 1985.
Okay.
Actually, in 1983. And the reason I keep trying to stay here is because I have a son and a granddaughter here. But I still am very, very uneasy with the energy here. I went briefly to Arizona. It was too hot for my lupus. I came back. And now the energy here is too much for me. And I want to be able to practice my mediumship and being an empath, but I'm finding it difficult to even relax. So
Yeah.
don't know if I really want to go home, but I don't know where else I want to go. And like I said, the ping-pong thing, I know what you're talking about. I don't want to bounce again.
Yeah.
Sometimes, honey,
but-
your energy outgrows a place. Sometimes, for whatever reason, you and a place just outgrow each other. It's like a relationship, right? You can have a fantastic marriage, and one day you just realize you've outgrown each other and you've grown in different directions. And I think it's that way with the energy of a place too. Sometimes you just hit a place where you outgrow each other, and that's perfectly okay.
Right. And just so you know, a lot of people who come from other places that aren't as dense as Southern California, a friend of mine is from Colorado, and he's, really successful medium angel guy now and stuff, but he came out here to live for 6 months as a trial, on a trial basis quite a while ago. And he just couldn't handle it here. He goes, I can't think here. I don't feel clear here. And he was living down by the beach even. He wasn't in the city. But he's like, I don't know how you live in this energy. And I'm like, well, I was born and raised here, so it's just what it is to me. But when I leave, and I travel and I go other places, I find it really hard to come back here. So that's, even though I'm used to it. So it makes perfect sense if you're, from a place that's a lot more open, but this is just too harsh for you.
I think it's just, I find it hard to be nice here sometimes, and it's my nature to be nice. But I'm finding the frustration is making me angry.
I understand, sweetheart.
Well, and you're also picking up on stuff from the harshness of the environment. It's not all you. I mean, you're frustrated and stuff like that, but your nature hasn't changed. It's just that because you're an empath, you pick it up and then you're reacting, but it's not you. Like I used to occasionally do still go through this with depression until I understood that I was an empath, and once I learned that and how to clear my own energy of everything I was picking up around me, I was like, oh wow, I'm actually not that big of a train wreck. It's just I've been taking on everything my whole life and not understanding it. So don't beat yourself up for being a grump, because it's you're frustrated, but your nature hasn't changed. It's just a matter of being able to clear the energy that you're picking up from this harsh environment, because it is.
Right. I feel really good, and I used to feel good in Colorado. I used to feel good. I liked Sedona, but that didn't quite work out for me last summer. Just circumstances and timing was off. Idaho comes up in my brain a lot sometimes, and I've never even been there.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because it's both Oregon and Colorado adjacent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
and in that same
a lot of people I know are
west
living
part,
there and they love it.
Yeah, it's that same old west area that the Dakotas are. Really the old west.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it has a good balance as far as climate and things like that go. I've been there a couple of times.
In Idaho?
I kind of drove through the northern part and I went to the southern part for two different things.
Yeah, I'm drawn to the hills and the green and the trees and that kind of thing. It is hard to figure out, and I guess I could just get a regular old job and see who hires me and go, and then work from there. And because I don't think I'm going to last here more than a month more. I know, Sheena, you think I'm crazy, but I don't think I can last another month here.
Yeah.
I don't think you're crazy at all, sweetheart. I'm surprised you've been here as long as you've been. I was trying to encourage you not to come back. I'm not surprised at all. I'm thrilled. I can't believe you came back, and I'm thrilled you've lasted this long. But I just, it's clearly not what you want.
It was a weird circumstance coming back, and then I, had that unfortunate accident where I was staying, and then my son didn't give me enough time at his house to stay to figure things out, and I took this apartment quickly. And it's I'm fighting with people, so it's not good.
Yeah, fighting with people is never good.
No, and I'm not really fighting with them. I'm just trying to get them to see another point of view, which never works.
I think you're just over Southern California, and everything's making you cranky. And that happens.
I just want the peace and quiet so I can get back to doing what I want to do.
Yeah, and this isn't really a place that's about peace and quiet. Well,
you guys can still read, and you live in California. What's wrong with me?
Well, everybody's energy is different. You can ask LA because she's known me since I was a pup. I love all the stimulus. I can't get I love it. To me, it calms me down. All the crazy and the traffic and the people that calms me down. Like, I literally meditated yesterday in bumper to bumper traffic and talked to her on the phone from Oxnard to Huntington Beach, like a 2.5 hour drive. And I just don't get stressed out. Yeah. I sit in the traffic. I don't care. Tons of energies. I don't care. My phone buzzes like every second. I mean, I get hundreds of texts and hundreds of emails every day, and I just weave through them. To me, I find it very exhilarating, and the exhilaration relaxes me. That's just me. LA processes very differently than I do.
Yeah, I do get overwhelmed.
I get overwhelmed really easy, and I'm very sensitive to sound and smell and sight, and it's just bizarre.
It sounds
I don't know. I think
that's me.
I think I'm like a spider and a rabbit and a cat all in one. Can't explain it. But I've got
I do that. We go to restaurants and I'm like, oh, it's too bright in here, and we'll like unscrew the light bulb over the table, and all kinds. Yeah, I'm the same way, but because I've lived here literally my whole life, I just I can adapt. I can I've meditated a lot, and I can adapt if I have to. The traffic doesn't bother me so much. The traffic bothers me more when my husband's driving because it stresses him out. If I'm driving, it doesn't bother me. But yeah, Sheena and I process very differently.
Yeah,
I do a lot of downtime, and I also have a very overstimulating child to take care of. So,
I don't have a child, but I have a very finicky cat.
What's that?
I don't have a child, but I have a very finicky cat. A very strange cat.
I love, I don't know, I think it's maybe growing up with 5 kids, I just love quiet.
Yeah. See, and I grew up alone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're only children.
I don't understand it. I just, and I raised
it's funny because we're both only children.
Yeah, we're both only children, and I grew up in a very quiet house with 2 very quiet parents. So I don't have a problem with a lot of stimulus. And my mom didn't like a lot of stimulus. It was very hard for her to deal with a whole lot of stimulus. I mean, she loved me being crazy, but she didn't like, she loved having kids at the house, but she didn't really like adults. So I could invite 50 kids over, but 2 adults were about her limit. So, and she'd been an elementary school teacher and taught special ed and been a child therapist. So she loved big hordes of kids, but she didn't have that many of her own friends over, or honestly didn't have that many of her own friends really, because she liked to live very quietly. And my father was just, oh God, do you have like 10 hours? He really was not a people person. He didn't like people. He liked robots and books. So, and my mom liked books, not robots, not so much, but she loved books. So, I mean, honestly, he was usually in the garage making a robot and she was reading a book, or they were very quietly painting, so I didn't grow up with kind of any noise, but I like quiet in my home environment, but I like to immerse myself in the energies of the everything outside, because that's where I'm most needed and that's where I can do the most spiritual work.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. I just, I just locked myself in the bathroom so you guys didn't have to hear that car beeping outside.
Oh, we don't care.
This is my new neighborhood. It's like, for God's sake, Mission Viejo is like freaking Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Oh, you're in Mission Viejo?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, you're my neighbor. You're my
No
neighbor.
way.
I'm in Foothill Ranch.
Yeah, I hear all these stories about Foothill Ranch
Lake
now from
Forest.
LA.
It's probably
What's
quiet
that?
over there. I, like I said, I took this place very quickly and mistakenly took it by the pool and listened to everything my realtor said to me, which was almost half untrue. So I'm struggling with noise 24/7. So I'm that'll get me out of here quicker than anything. And I have to break a lease. So I just have everything in writing. So
Well, I think
every
that
time I've called security, every time I've called the police, every time I've called my landlord, every time someone's threatened to hurt me, I have called the police. So I've got it documented, so I don't think they're going to give me a problem.
Well, I think sometimes, honey, the universe guides you in a direction when they're trying to tell you that you're not where you need to be. Because I live in Sherman Oaks in the middle of two major cross streets and right between three freeways. And I live right on a pool, and you almost never hear a noise where I live. So when the universe keeps throwing at you that which you fear and that which you dislike, it's usually because the universe is trying to nudge you that it's time to get out of a place. Because there are certainly pockets of super quiet places that exist in every part of Los Angeles.
Yeah, I guess economically I can't afford those, and that's kind of the other thing. That I know economically this is where I landed, but mentally and morally I don't live here, if that makes any sense.
Yep, it's time.
Well, that's the hardest thing of all about Southern California in general, is that, just the price everything is. So you are kind of, if, your income isn't quite what you want it to be, or, what you, then, yeah, your options are kind of limited, which is probably another reason you feel so drawn to get out.
Yeah.
'Cause it's hard. It's not easy here. I mean, my husband has a great paying job, but and we've had our house for a long time, but even we're like, do we want to stay here forever? Because it's a struggle. Look how far the money would go elsewhere.
I already told him, I said, if I can't pay rent, I don't want to be evicted. I want you to help me get out of here so that everybody can be happy. And he said, okay, that we can do that. But he's not responding to me now, so we'll just wait and see what happens. But I'm hoping that I can be a businesswoman and get it figured out so everybody's okay.
Well, and now, right? Now you know your options. So Oregon, Colorado, Idaho, North Dakota. I think you'd be fine in Montana or Wyoming. That's all basically the same area of the country. So now you know where you're supposed to be. Western half, northern half. That's a whole quadrant now that you've figured out. And that's a good thing. It's good to know where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yep. I'll just maybe try to get a little airline job and get transferred somewhere and get a little job and then work from there, because I can't move without money. So.
Of course.
Or without a job.
Of course.
At least a job.
Of course.
A job, hopefully.
Yeah.
If you can get something with a company that's basically anywhere,
Well,
then even if you do end up pinging off and going somewhere else, you could, get a transfer
Well, Boise
Possibly.
has a res office for Alaska Airlines that I have some friends that work there that might be able to get me in, and you can work from home, and then you can transfer other places. So at least I'd be able to fly. And I could come down here and see my grandbaby.
Right, and that's important.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and if you have to pay for your ticket, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds like the best place to start then.
Yeah, exactly. Check it out, Idaho. We just want you to be happy, sweetheart. That's the most important thing, is that you just be happy. And you're not happy where you are now. You just need to go somewhere and make yourself be happy, because it's happiness is what it's all about, my friend.
Yeah, well, maybe somewhere where we don't have to live on top of each other.
Yeah, and there's so
Would
many
be
places in this
better.
country where you can't, seriously, you can't even see another house. There's just places where there's nothing. And nobody wants to live in those places. So the fact that you do gives you a leg up on a lot of things.
Yeah, we'll see. Thank you.
Oh my God,
you
absolutely.
both.
Absolutely, sweetheart. You take care of you, and we're thinking about you, and we want good things to happen to you and for you. And you just keep us posted and let us know how you're doing. If you want to be live on the air with us, you just send me a text. It's 818-437-0886. That's 818-437-0886. And we will set you up on the air. I am live with the most wonderful and amazing Elais Weiss. And this is how we do this Lightworkers Unite thing. I'm just trying now to remember how to get rid of the call with the double call. So, it takes a minute. I thought I did a drop down here. Oh, maybe we've already done that part. Okay, let's see. LA, do I have you?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, that took care of itself. Okay. Well, that was easy, wasn't it? All right, we're going to get Christy on the phone with us. And while we get Christy on the phone with us, one more time, the number to get on the air, 818-437-0886. That's 818-437-0886. That's how you do it. And, it's funny how you forget how to do something. All right, here we go. Christy will be with us in just seconds. This is Raising the Vibration on LA Talk Radio. And again, 818-437-0886 to get on the air with us. Christy, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I was just watching live on Facebook, and my phone was about to die, and I got up to plug it in, and you sent me a message.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you're here. Is your phone okay now? Can you talk?
I'm sitting with it plugged in, so we should be good.
Good. I love that story. Say hi to LA, and how may we help you?
Hi, LA.
Hello. Hi.
Well,
how are you?
well, I talked to you a few weeks ago regarding my son.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you remember.
I do, but
we
tell
had,
the
like, a
listeners
couple,
again about your son, because I want to make sure that everybody who's listening and watching is up to date, so it doesn't sound like we're having a private conversation and no one gets it.
Gotcha. So we discussed his autism diagnosis.
Right?
And how I'm very up in the air with the diagnosis.
Yeah, and I wasn't buying it.
But, yeah, neither was Patty. So while we were speaking, we had quite a few male EVPs coming through live.
We thought it was your uncle, right?
Okay. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, every time she'd mention her uncle, LA, there would be this male voice talking like an EVP on the line with us.
It was wild.
Yes.
So I've had a reading before regarding my mom. She's been passed about 4 years now.
Okay.
And I was told that her and my uncle are on the other side together.
Okay, sure.
So I was just trying to see if we could connect with her in any way. That's kind of where I was going today.
Yeah, absolutely. LA, do you want to do this one?
What is her first name?
Barbara. She went by Miss Barb.
Okay.
My dad called her Barbie.
Miss Barb. That's such a southern thing, right?
Well, yeah.
Maryland, right?
She grew up in Maryland, but she was born in Virginia.
Yeah, totally a Maryland thing. I grew up in Maryland part-time as a kid. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not.
I did, outside of Towson. We called everybody Miss something and Mr. something. Yep. But about halfway between Baltimore and the Pennsylvania border.
I'm probably about 10 minutes away from Towson.
Oh, really? Okay, so I lived in Glenarm.
Yeah.
Do you know where that is? So
What
tiny.
was that again?
Glenarm. It's like by Parkville, and it's
Oh yeah.
My dad worked in Timonium. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I live in Perry Hall.
Beautiful. Now I can hear your accent. Now I can hear your Baltimorean accent.
Yeah, the Baltimorean accent.
I should have
comes
known
through
when you
now
said
and
your
again.
phone didn't have a charge. I should have knew you were a Baltimorean.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Elais. I don't mean to bust your reading with all my Baltimore talk.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, if you have something, go ahead.
Oh, me? Oh, no, I was just waiting on
Yeah.
you. Oh, no, I was just talking about Baltimore. I can totally go if you want, or you can go. It's up to you. I can always go.
Yeah.
But I don't want the show to be all about me all the time.
Go. Yeah, no, it's fine. No, I did a lot last time. Go ahead and go.
Okay, so your mom and your uncle are most definitely together. And there was something that when they were alive, right? There was something that they had to kind of work out with each other.
Wow. Spot on.
And
yes.
now it's worked out. So they want you to know it's okay that they're hanging out together, they're having a blast. And your uncle says, we've forgotten about all that, and you should too.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
And I have.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Because they're not mad at each other anymore about it. It was an earth
they
thing.
did not get along.
Yeah, and sometimes people carry that right into the next realm, and they still are mad. But sometimes they don't. And in this case, they're really not, because there was a time when they got along really great when they were little, and
Yes.
they went back to that time and decided to sort of call a truce and go back to that time, which I think is beautiful.
Wow. That is beautiful. Wow.
So I think that's the best news ever that they've done that. But yeah, and they're
my
super.
cousin would be so happy to hear that. That's
Oh,
his daughter.
please
so.
please tell her. And they're totally working together with everything, including watching over you and your cousin to make sure that both of your lives are. They said both of their lives, and then I repeated it. Both of your lives are better and just more enriched, because the family could have been closer, and it really wasn't because of the two of them, and they get that, so they're trying to fix it now.
Yep, I feel that too.
And a lot of it was because they were so much alike that they both had that same stubbornness and unforgiving nature and guardedness, and make sure somebody's not taking advantage of you kind of thing, which it was really good that they instilled that in you and your cousin. But they both would have benefited by being a lot more forgiving when they were alive, right?
Oh my! You could not be more spot on. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they died and went, wow, that was stupid. Why did we waste all that
Exactly.
time that we could have been hanging out together and having a blast? Because
Yep.
we just let stuff get in the way.
Yep.
And
Wow.
which one of them was real funny with money?
They were both
Both
a
of them?
little funny. I guess my uncle was more frivolous with money,
Yeah,
and my mom was more counting pennies.
right. So it's your mom. Your mom was more funny with money and didn't like the fact that he wasn't like that. That he didn't keep track of money or care that much
I
about
was going
money.
to say most of the things that they didn't get along over were really petty,
Yes.
because they both approached life and decision making and everything from such two different places that they judged each other for the way that they came to their decisions and the decisions that they came from. Not just money, it was just kind of everything. It's like, why do you let your kids do that? I would never let my kids do that. Or why do you this? And why do it's like always questioning each other, and it's just like nitpicky things just because they didn't approach life the same way. And so they just clashed because in life they just couldn't allow each other to be themselves. Like, it was not even a competition. It's just like all this
sibling
judgy
rivalry.
little petty things. Yeah, but
Yeah.
the judgy little petty things because they were just so different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think
neither
with
one of
my
them could
mom,
get
it was
past
more
it.
jealousy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the baby, and he was very close to my grandmother, their mother. Literally lived 5 houses down from her, and I think with my mom, it was a little more jealousy. She'll never say that though.
Yeah. Well, and that could have something to do with the money too. She felt like your grandmother gave him more everything.
Spot on.
Yeah. So where was hers? You know, because your mom could be a little tit for tatty, right, and a little petty about things. And so she felt like because he lived right by your grandmother that she was always giving him things and bringing him things and feeding him, and why wasn't she getting that stuff? And then it became sort of like a his and mine.
Yep. Exactly.
But there was something
and
about
it didn't
your
help
uncle.
that he had a drug problem too. Off
Right.
and on.
I was just going to say there was something about your uncle that he was like a little boy.
Yes.
And
right, but she enabled him, right? She enabled him by
without a doubt.
like when he would kind of crash and burn, she would come and take care of him. It's like, oh, here's food and here's this. And, oh, you need a little bit of money for that.
Uh-huh.
But you know,
Take my car.
Yep.
Yeah. You need a little bit of money for those drugs. Here's a little money for those drugs.
Exactly.
Well, but I think your grandmother always believed he was going to quit, always believed that he wasn't going to do drugs anymore. Like, she really always believed in the good in him.
She did, and I think a little bit of naiveness came into play with that too.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
Absolutely.
I'm
just so happy they're okay.
Yeah, they're great. But you and your cousin have managed to be close in spite of it, right?
Yes.
That's great.
We definitely, it took a few years.
Okay.
But we definitely rebuilt a relationship. I went to her wedding.
So
and
important.
She just had another baby, and we're pretty close now.
So important.
It is, because we were always very close. I mean, we grew up together.
Yeah.
And then all that stuff happened. I'd say around maybe my preteens is when everything started going pretty downhill, and we didn't have a relationship for maybe 15 years.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. But you guys got past that and you worked through that. And a lot of that was how much of that time had your mom been passed?
Well, my mom's been passed for 4 years.
Okay.
It was 4 years this past January.
Okay. So your mom was alive when you and your cousin had patched everything up?
She was, but she wasn't in her right state of mind.
Okay, because I was going to say, because it feels like there was work that she has helped since she's passed with really mending that fence between the two of you since she's been gone.
I can definitely feel that.
Because
absolutely,
with your mom, it was just like it was like an instantaneous thing when she passed. And
definitely.
And something that had to do with how she compressed everything, how she was so compressed and how she held on to everything, and how she didn't ever let things go, and she held everybody accountable and tit for tat and who owes who what. Part of that has to do with what wound up affecting her health and eventually led to her passing.
I could totally see that.
Because you can affect your physiological stuff with all of your spiritual and emotional stuff, right? It all starts with your spirituality, bleeds into your emotionality, and then bleeds into your physicality sometimes. So people that have, a lot of buildup inside of them they don't let go of, that begins to affect illnesses that affect mental capacity.
Mhm. Yeah, and on top of that, I think she was just so worried about me and my sister.
I'm sure.
She put herself aside for a long time, and it caught up with her.
I'm sure. Yep.
So.
And that's another reason she was so angry at your uncle, because she felt like she put everybody else first and he always put himself first.
Exactly.
And in a way he did, but he didn't do it to be selfish. He just did it because he couldn't get out of his own way and he followed his nose everywhere.
Yep. He was, I'm a true believer in addiction as a sickness, so he was sick. Yeah. Maybe mentally too.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I think both of them mentally a little bit.
Yes.
And he passed recently, right?
He actually passed a year and a half before my mom.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Because he presents as passing more recently. So interesting. That's it might have taken him a while to get settled.
I could see that with him too. And it's funny, I think I felt that too. Like I said, I've had one reading before, and I even said that my mom passed before him, and I wasn't right. So it's kind of odd that you said that, because I didn't feel like, for one, he'd been gone that long, and I think my mom was gone long before she passed, and maybe that had something to do with it too.
Yeah. Maybe it took him a while to get settled. He might have been in transition for a while, earthbound for a while. Who knows? But it seems like he's newer where he is than she is, strangely enough.
Yeah, like I said, I'll just come out with say it. She had dementia. I mean, she's
Right.
been gone. I'm 31, and she'd been gone since I was probably 15, 16.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. I didn't want to say that out loud because I didn't know if
That's okay.
if you wanted to talk about it on the air.
That's
but
what I was going to say, because that's what it felt like.
Right.
Because I had the same thing about
she has dementia.
being
LA.
gone longer. Yeah.
Seems like it sometimes.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it because obviously it was such early onset dementia that I didn't want to, I just didn't want to. So I'm glad you did. But everything
I think she was 54, around 54 when it started.
Yeah. So everything that she held on to, all of that pettiness and all the worries and the inability to let anything go and the compressing and the pushing everything inside of her, that actually led to the dementia. It's like it's like she needed a break from her own consciousness, so the universe gave her one.
Yeah, and it's funny because the doctors couldn't even figure out exactly how it came about.
Yeah. It was just
because
from
a lot of times in early onset, it's genetic, and it's not genetic. It wasn't genetic in her case. So they even tried to say it was from an infected tooth. We got the weirdest answers for why this even happened.
Right. Is that a thing with the infected tooth? Now I'm going to freak out that I have an infected tooth that's going to cause it.
Well, I mean,
you
can get an infection that can go to your brain if you leave, teeth to rot in your head. To be blunt, yeah, you can, but I don't. Yeah, it is dangerous, but I've heard of that happening. Do you mind if I ask you? This isn't even a psychic thing, but going back to your son, because I wasn't there for that conversation.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
But interestingly, I took care of my grandmother who had dementia until she passed, and then also I have a special needs child. But I'm just curious because you said that they diagnosed him with autism, but you don't agree.
I don't, and he was diagnosed at 18 months.
Okay, well, that's ridiculous. Honestly, that's ridiculous. It's kind of weird because having gone through that, one of the things that everyone's running around going, oh, autism is so much more prevalent than it used to be, right? I know when I was growing up, you heard about autistic kids, but, the only thing that they called autism was, a kid sitting in the corner with a football helmet on, hitting their head against the wall. Never looking at people, never talking, right? But now autism is a million different things, so it's not that it is so much more prevalent, it's just that they're, instead of just calling that one thing autism, they've made this massive umbrella called autism spectrum disorder. And so they're just throwing everything under that category. 18 months is really early.
Yes.
Because, so just, I might be able to help you out here a little bit. Just what were the reasons that they diagnosed him?
So,
what were his symptoms?
I always put these to the side of just saying, it's just Logan, it's just how he is. So when he was young, around 1, my husband could walk in the door from work and say, hi, Logan, and he wouldn't even look at him. He was kind of off with eye contact. He didn't walk until he was 18, probably like 17, 18 months when he started walking. Everything he did, what the book says they should do it by, he did it like later, like 4 months after.
That's the problem with the book.
Yeah, I don't...
Because there is a normal human spectrum, right? I mean, not everything is an alphabetical spectrum. There's just the human spectrum. My own mother didn't even talk till she was 5. And she's, you know, there's nothing wrong with her. Although I did joke with her not that long ago that she would have been diagnosed on the spectrum. They thought that maybe she was, you know, they used the R word back then, retarded. But she wasn't. She just literally to this day, and if you knew her, it would make sense. She would just be like, I didn't have anything to say to anybody. You know, when she got into school, she started talking because she had to. Other than that, she would have been perfectly happy just not talking to people. But anyway, so he wasn't walking. I mean, 17 months, and for boys who tend to develop a little later than girls, that's not that far off course, really. And then they're not answering to the name could be other things, you know. And what else was he not doing that they thought he should?
One of the things that his pediatrician always said, like, they want you to point, and then if he follows the direction of where you're pointing, he never did that. It was just this little, like, BS, like, stuff. Like, I'd be like, come on. I don't know, like, I'm not going to say that he's not delayed, but I think that's all it is. I think he's just a little delayed. He just does things at his own pace. Food. He ate everything under the sun till about 16 months old. Then he got super picky with food. We're still going through that. He actually I take him to a food therapy doctor. We had that today. So that was definitely one of the main things. I can't think of anything else specifically.
Did anything else change around that time, like in his environment and his health and his?
No.
I know I'm going to bring up the vaccine thing, but not because I think vaccines cause autism, but I think some people have bad reactions to vaccine, and maybe some things happen, you know, whether it's an allergic thing that people aren't aware of or what have you, you know, and that it can cause issues that kind of present like autism. You know, I don't think it's that common, though I do know a couple of people that's happened to. So I'm only bringing it up because that's around the age that they tend to get some. Usually it's 18 months, though, so if it was before then, probably not.
Yeah, it was, I mean, he was showing, I mean, my husband will tell you that he was showing symptoms at like 9 months. And I wouldn't even consider it until he was maybe about like 14, 15 months. And I don't know if it's so many people like telling me or if a light bulb finally went off, like, oh, okay. But yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I can tell you he's the most awesome child in the world, though. Like, he is.
Yeah.
Anyone that comes into contact with him can't help but smile. Like, he's just that kind of kid.
How old is he now?
He'll be 5 in May. The end of May, he'll be 5.
Okay. And is he in school or?
He is. I've had him in some kind of therapy or classroom setting since the age of 2. And when he was, so this would be his 2nd year in like a special, like pre-K. It's through the public school system now.
Okay. Yeah, so he qualified for services and everything then?
He did.
Okay. And how is he doing, like with, you know, his reactions to people, and has that gotten better?
That's why I said he's excelling. Like, that's why I don't see the autism in him, because he is a social butterfly. Okay, well, I just want to say, honestly, you're so lucky that you got the services, whatever was going on with him. With my daughter, because my friend's son is 4, and she's been fighting tooth and nail for 2 years, and he does have an autism diagnosis, but people keep denying it, and they can't get any services, and they can't get him into preschool because they won't accept him in the normal preschool because he's just off enough that he's a social butterfly.
and he doesn't qualify for services. So she's actually suing the school district now because it's just gotten completely out of hand. So this is what based on my thing, we foster adopted our daughter, and she was very, very severely delayed because of neglect. And they diagnosed her at 20, how old was she? When did we get her? Okay, so she was just about 2, right after she turned 2, on the spectrum. And because she had a lot of really bizarre behaviors, and she did not answer to her name. She didn't have a clue what her name was and all this, but she was neglected. So it was a really weird thing. She couldn't eat food, wouldn't even look at it, would just throw it at you. She was just feral when we got her. And they diagnosed her, and I was like, that's not fair. She's too young, and she's been through all this, and she's under all this stress. But, and now she's 10. And, there are days, I never think about it, and then all of a sudden she'll do something so bizarre or have some emotional reaction that's just so off the wall. I'm like, oh, there it is. That's a spectrum behavior, right? So I wouldn't worry about this diagnosis. I wouldn't think about it. I would just, the place where she had therapy, they said, we treat to the behaviors, we treat to each individual quirk, basically. We don't treat the diagnosis, because they had Down syndrome kids, and it's just great, and all different kinds of things going on there. And they're like, we treat every kid based on what they do. We don't care what their diagnosis is. They can have certain expectations as far as developmentally, but because you have the services, and, because I wanted to go get her reassessed now that she's older, actually, and see if they still decided that she was on the spectrum. But everybody around me said, just keep the diagnosis, because you never know. She might get into high school and suddenly have some weird thing come up, that she can't get past, some sort of behavior or whatever it is. And as long as you've got a diagnosis, you can automatically get services. Whereas if you try to get the diagnosis taken away, and then it comes up later, then you're starting from square one. Oh, now we have to put them through assessments, and we have to do this, and we have to do that. And these people might say yes, and these people might say no. And then you're in the situation my friend is in, where she's stuck in the middle. So, I never thought of it that way, honestly. So thank you. Yeah, so don't think of it as a stigma. Just think of it as a potential future advantage should you need it. And just keep doing what you're doing, because, like you said, he's awesome, and he's him, and it's our quirks that make the world go round. A lot of it is a system trying to shove us all into boxes, right?
Which sucks.
And it's like, oh, you need to look like this, you need to be doing that, your BMI needs to be this. Well,
they're very disappointed with my BMI.
If you're healthy and you're thriving, so what? There are going to be quirks, Yeah.
None of us are perfect.
I'm fine with that. I just think he's super special. I mean, when Sheena and I talked a couple weeks ago with Patty, I mean, I'm even considering him being some kind of spiritual special.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and he might even be gifted.
That's what that's what I told her.
Spiritually.
Yeah. That's what I told her.
Spiritually, but even
Both.
even in some academic areas, as he gets
Both.
older, and then
your uncle.
If it turns out, because a lot of kids. Sorry, it's cutting out, so I don't mean
No,
to
that's
interrupt you
the
if I am.
uncle.
But,
Every time we start to talk about him being gifted, your uncle pops in and does this. This happened last time too.
Yeah.
Every time we say the G word.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, go back and listen. You can hear it again. Exactly, because we haven't mentioned gifted the whole phone call.
The cutting out.
Yeah.
So the thing is, a lot of these kids, particularly ones who are considered to, quote, have Asperger's, which they don't use so much anymore, but that's the, really high functioning autistic. A lot of them, are super intelligent. Well, even the ones who aren't as obviously, high functioning, but they're super intelligent. And there's I'm gonna recommend a Facebook page to you. Actually, it's called Hoagies, HOAGIES, Gifted Education. There are a couple different ones. There's like a community group and an information page, but it's Hoagies Gifted Education, and they post these amazing articles, and they talk. This is stuff that Sheena and I have talked about. I wish they had this kind of grasp of this when we were growing up. because I was one of those weird in-between kids, too smart for this, but, we don't know what to do with her, let's put her over here. It's just crazy. And then I had, some stuff going on. But, now they acknowledge that they're what they called like 2E kids, where it's like they're twice exceptional, meaning they're very intelligent, or they have, even just one area that they really excel in, but they also have other exceptionalities, meaning they have learning disabilities, they're dyslexic, they're, maybe on the autism spectrum, or even, they just have emotional issues because they're very empathic, although they don't talk about it like that. But, they have a lot of anxiety or they have depression. So they're realizing that, wow, some of these kids who kind of seem like a train wreck over here because of, what people perceive as their disabilities are actually just another something that's, kind of the exception to the rules of what we think people are and what kids should be. And how those things play, how do you play to their strengths so you can really focus on what their gifts are, their true gifts are, whether it's science or math or spirituality or art or whatever, and accept the fact that these kids who might have anxiety or have these other things really are brilliant. And that page is great. We have all kinds of articles. And
that's exactly what I told her last time. I said, I don't think he's autism spectrum. I think he's gifted spectrum. And when I said gifted spectrum, your uncle popped in and made a noise, and the same thing happened this time.
That's
funny.
You'll be able to hear it when you listen back.
I was hoping it would happen again. Absolutely. I mean, I know we've been on the air a while, but just to give you like a little example of how smart this child is, one of his quirks is Disney cars. He is obsessed with Disney cars. He can name every Disney car, not just from the movies, but the ones that they make and like sell at the stores. I'm talking over 200 cars.
Yeah.
He can name all of their names and their sponsors. And he's done that since he was about like 3.5.
Okay, so when I was 3, and I'll out us both. So Elais and I are both on the gifted spectrum. I just outed us both. Was that okay? Yeah. And don't even get her started on food. I think she needs to take your son's class. I, on the other hand, I'm a database person. When I was 3 years old, I could say all of the presidents backwards and forwards. Why I decided I had to learn that? Who knows? Just because gifted people are quirky as F. Like, who knows why we're like that? We just are. Now I make databases for things. So I do different things. I have to have a database. And I had a friend on the show a couple of months ago we just written a book about being OCD, and I called Elais up on the phone and I said, John asked me if I was OCD, and I said, I don't think I am. And she said, did you tell him about the databases you make? That I do. I make databases for everything. Like, I have a database for how many candles are in my closet. Everything. And it's called Candles in the Closet. I have another one for all the kinds of incense that I have. It's called Incense in the Suitcase, because I keep incense in a suitcase. And Elais said, okay, so when you take one incense stick and burn it, do you take it out of the database? And I was like, what? Yeah. Of course.
Absolutely.
That's the purpose of having the database. When you use the incense, you take it out of the database. It's no longer in stock. But
I'm like, I use my incense when I run out, I buy more.
Right. But again, I'll eat anything. And Elais really funky about what's in her food, what happened, how her food, what kind of life her food lived. You
That's
put
my
something,
OCD.
I eat seafood. I see food and I eat it. And the only reason I've changed my diet at all is for health, not because I care about anything or even how anything tastes. I mean, I'll just eat anything. Like, there are things I like more, but honestly, if you plunk food from the 7-Eleven in front of me, I'll eat it. Like, I'm just not. So everybody has their weird quirks, and that's part of being gifted. Right. And I'd rather starve than.
I question everything. I do eat seafood now.
Right, actual seafood. Not me. I eat seafood and I eat it.
Seafood. I know.
It's so that's part of being gifted. That's how we come out. And we come out with very strange things. And oftentimes we're extremely hyper-focused in some areas and extremely unfocused in other areas. I call it God giveth and God taketh away syndrome. So here's God giveth and God taketh away syndrome in the scientific world. If you have a Ferrari that can go 0 to 100 in 2 minutes, this car is going to get 10 miles to the gallon. So when your brain moves that fast, there are areas where it moves very slow. So when I was 5 and I had an IQ test for the first time, not quite 5, I tested sophomore in college level at everything except in drawing. I tested infant. And to this day, I can't draw. I can't draw and I can't visualize things. So everybody who's gifted has areas where they fall because you can't have everything or your brain would explode. So there are still areas where I'm terrible. A lot of super smart people are dyslexic. A lot of super smart people are bipolar. I mean, there's always a way where the universe sort of evens the balance. Because otherwise, what would your lessons learn? What lessons would you have to learn?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it in the anxiety depression thing.
Sure.
First panic attack I remember having, I was 6. I mean, you know, like, so that's been kind of my thing, is like riding the emotional roller coaster and also being incredibly accident prone.
Yeah.
I mean, we walk down this. I mean, like, I literally don't know how many bones I've broken.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I've never broken one.
Something.
So everybody's things are different.
Right, and yeah, we'll walk down the street. My husband will just hug me. You know, he'll just like pull me because I'm about to walk into a pole. And what's weird is it's not that I don't pay attention to my surroundings. People, oh, you don't pay attention to your surroundings. I'm like, no, I know what that person across the street's doing. I know what the people are doing and who's walking behind me and all that. But inanimate objects are my enemy. Like, I drop things on a foot at least once a year and break a toe, like that. So it's kind of like the physical pain challenge and the emotional roller coaster challenge. Those are my. And
we have this talk all the time with each other. We have this talk about, like, are we on the spectrum? Like, we ask each other this all the time. Yeah. Because I think a spectrum is a spectrum, and everybody on a spectrum is probably more alike than people who aren't on any spectrum. Because it just means energetically processing in a different way. And I just feel like your son I don't want him to ever forget how special he is and how wonderful he is and how gifted he is psychically and how gifted he is emotionally. And I don't want a bunch of doctors to try to fit him into a box and take away his brightness.
Yes. Thank you. That's exactly
with my daughter,
how I feel.
Yeah, with my daughter, when she was 4, her neurologist said, well, you know, when she was 6, she did, when we got her, she was almost 2. She was 21 and a half months old, and she was 8 months old developmentally. And she was the size of a friend of mine's now 7 months old. She was so tiny. She still is. She's 10. She weighs 52 pounds. But the neurologist said, well, when she gets into school, when she's about 6, we'll talk about medication. Because they were concerned about hyperactivity. And I basically said, no, we won't actually be talking about that, and I never went back. And interestingly, and, you know, like Sheena was saying about the hyper-focus, when she's at school, she's been at the same school since she was in preschool, and it's this, like, private school, and they do all these different things, gardening and art and music, and they're always busy. Like, they learn by doing. And the only problems that there have ever been with her focusing in school is other kids interrupting her when she's trying to focus. She can be a complete scatterbrain at home, you know, and she never stops moving when she's at home. She bounces, you know, this is very spectrum-y. She bounces all the time, you know. She does things like perch on the edge of the coffee table like a bird, you know. Fortunately she tap dances, so she's kind of focused that energy into practicing tap all the time. But she always has to have sound input, so she, like, if it's quiet, she'll start making noise, like, you know. Other than that, she seems pretty normal. But in school, there's never been an issue. A couple emotional things when social things got weird, but the teachers just absolutely adore her. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think this was going to be our reality. And thank goodness we didn't cave to the idea of medicating her, because, you know, then I don't think she couldn't fully express herself. I know people who have benefited from medication, but, you know, it's just, I don't know, you just have to find the right environment for them to thrive, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad that me and my husband are on the same page with that.
Yeah, she did, in 10 months, she went from her developmental stage that she was to being at her age and above in everything except motor planning, which she still struggles with. The tap is helping, but she developed 4.5 years of language in 10 months. She went from nothing to testing at 4.5 before she turned 3. And sometimes I'm not sure if I'm talking to a 10-year-old or a 30-year-old.
Yeah, or 60-year-old, 65-year-old.
She'll say things in the background when we're on the phone, and Sheena will go, "Oh, Mother has spoken."
Yeah, she's like Norman Bates' mom sometimes. You girls, and you're swearing, and you're crazy. She's like somebody's grandmother.
Yeah.
That's Logan. Logan's the potty mouth police.
Right, so is she, but she's also
Yeah.
crazy psychic. Crazy gifted psychic. I mean, in such an amazing. We were at my Raising the Vibration gathering last Sunday, and she always comes with LA and her husband, and sits in the front. So good. Even Dee Wallace, my guest, was like, "You're so well behaved to her," because she really is. She sits there like a. So anyway, she wanted to use. I threw my knee out and I was using my mom's cane, and she wanted to use my mom's cane to help get water bottles out from under the seats because she was cleaning up, and I handed her the cane. And I said, "That was my mom's cane. Can you feel her energy on it?" She's like, "Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm." I mean, just like no big deal. Not like, what's energy or what does that mean? Or, wow, I can feel just like, oh, yeah, I feel everybody's energy and that's just me. I mean, she's 10 years old and she was like that when she was 5. So, so he's going to be that kind of special
kid.
kid.
When she was 2, even before she was really verbal, she was like literally so telepathic. I mean, I could, it would freak me out sometimes because I gave her a bath. The most intense one was I gave her a bath, and I couldn't told her she was feral, so I had to be on her 24/7. You couldn't let her out of your sight or out of your grip, and so I laid her down on her bed to get her dry, and she had gotten verbal by this time, but it had started earlier than that, and I laid her down on the bed, and in my mind, literally, I'm drying her off, and I think, "Oh, I left my phone in the bathroom. Do I dare leave her here alone, to get it, or do I take her with me?" It happens in your brain, in a nanosecond. And she went, "Mama," she said, "you get phone, I stay here."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Your
Wow.
baby's special like that, sweetheart. He's special. I'm so sorry. We've got somebody waiting. We've got to let you go. You are amazing, and you're going to be fine, and he's going to be fine, and we're going to be here every step of the way with you. And so is everybody who follows us here and listens to and watches Lightworkers Unite, because we're all becoming a family. So don't let a doctor rush you to a diagnosis, sweetheart. And thank you for the call, and thanks for being wonderful. And let us know how you're doing. And we're always, of course, sending you love.
Yeah, have you?
So, LA, obviously when I have you on, it's going to be the long form readings. That's what we're learning now tonight.
It doesn't have to be.
You're the long form
this
medium.
Thing was,
that's going to be your name, the long form medium. That's it.
No, I don't want that. But this was something extra.
Yeah. Okay. So we're so we're going to get Rachel on the phone now, and then we'll do another long form reading. It's so funny.
No,
it's just everybody. Yeah, I think we probably will. I'm feeling that's what's going to happen. I think it's our thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's right. I have to add to the call. Doing it wrong again. Skype is
the right button.
I know Skype is so funky. I don't want to hang up on you. If I don't do it the right way, then it hangs up on you. So good to have you here with me, my friend. I'm loving this. It's nice when we get people. Oh, Rachel?
No, you got the wrong number.
Oh, really? Oh, I got the wrong number. Sorry. That's weird. She's programmed into the Skype, and I think now I just hung up on LA too because I got all nervous. So I got to go back and get her number and reprogram it in. Well, that's funny. Hi, are you with me?
Yeah, I am now.
Okay, I think what happened was we got a wrong number, and then I freaked out and hung up the call and hung up on you too. I think I accidentally called the wrong people, so I have to get her number. I had her programmed into the system, but I had her programmed into the system incorrectly. So I have to figure out which number now, and I have to text her. This is a very strange system we work out here, but it works out beautifully when it works. So where can people find you online, my friend? This is a good time to ask you that.
I've got a Facebook page, Elais Weiss, Elais Weiss, and right now there, and I actually have an Instagram. It's hey.la. I use it sometimes. I'm getting there, but you can always email me at heyla, HEYELAIS @gmail.com.
Oh, good. All right, good. And you can find me at IamRaisingYourVibration.com or SheenaMetalSpiritual.com, and also at the Raising the Vibration movement at RaisingTheVibration.org and IamRaisingTheVibration.com. We love that. And I'm at SheenaMetal.com and everywhere on social media, just at Sheena Metal. And we're going to the call here. Somewhere is the call. This is the call. Go to call. This is the call. Now we can do this. All right. I do like 50 things at once here, and I love it because that's my funky. That's my gifted weirdness. Let's do 100 things at once. I was just because I had our good friend Patty Negri on, and I was talking about how I think I overwhelm Patty because I'm like, Patty, I've got ideas for our web series, and I give her like 50 ideas, and then 10 more ideas that ping pong off the 50 ideas, and the next thing you know, it's 3,000 ideas.
And then poor thing starts hyperventilating.
Yeah, and
right?
She's such a Libra, and she's so good about like, okay, well, let's okay. Yeah, it's just how I am. You're used to it. Welcome to the show, my friend. Say your name again. It's Rachel, right?
No, you got the wrong number.
Oh, you know what? Okay. I swear I just dialed in the number and I hung up on LA again. Okay, this is just hysterically funny and so weird. We're going to do the station break really quick, and then we'll be back. LA is back with us. We're going to find Rachel. We don't know why we keep getting some man who's telling us he's not Rachel. It's all very bizarre, but we're going to do a station break, and then we're right back with you. It's Raising the Vibration right here on LA Talk Radio, and here we go.
You're listening to Raising the Vibration with Sheena Metal, only on LA Talk Radio.
Now we can.
Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Bellesprit is a free online magazine featuring columnists who are experts in their field. Bellesprit magazine covers topics about health and healing, spiritual growth, angels, inspiration, divination, and the paranormal. You can also receive guidance from our experts to your questions or follow your astrological and lunar forecasts for the month ahead. Bellesprit magazine is offered free online for your education and enjoyment at Bellesprit.com. Bellesprit means beautiful spirit, and that represents each and every one of us. Their logo is the diamond because it represents the full soul quality. Like a diamond, each facet is unique, holding a beauty all its own. Each facet represents a different characteristic of who we are as individuals. And yet, when we look at the whole diamond, with its flaws and inclusions, we see the exquisiteness of the diamond in its entirety. The collective of the whole soul quality, demonstrating that even in its imperfections, it is still seen as beautiful. Bellesprit magazine spreads love, truth, and awareness to the world, leading the diamond in the rough to healing and growing into the best diamond we are all meant to be. Visit Bellesprit at Bellesprit.com. That's Bellesprit.com.
Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Raising the Vibration with Sheena Metal, only on LA Talk Radio.
It's Raising the Vibration right here on LA Talk Radio. Hello, LA Talk Radio. Hi, Facebook Live. RaisingTheVibration.org. That's where we are. RaisingTheVibrationRadio.com, LATalkRadio.com. The movement is at RaisingTheVibration.org. My spiritual practice is at IamRaisingYourVibration.com and at SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. And we have the wonderful Elais Weiss is here as my guest all this show. Elais, welcome back. How are you?
Thank you.
It's good to
hanging out. Oh, great! I'm getting feedback. I'm hearing myself.
That's weird. Are you okay?
Okay.
Is it okay? Are you tripping in the trippy zone? You want to call me back before we call?
I'm totally tripping.
Do you want to try to call me back?
I think it's okay.
Before we call our caller?
Nope.
All right. So what do we think? Is our caller going to be there this time, or is it going to be really scary?
I hope so.
I hope so
I don't
too.
know.
I don't know either.
Trippy.
It was kind of freaking me out a little bit. We don't know why she wasn't there. All right, so let's try this now. So we're going to get you up first. Nope, that's not it. Where are you? You are here. Go to call. Here we go.
We're in that darn Mercury retrograde shadow.
I know, right? Then we're going to type in Rachel, and then we're going to add in. And hopefully we're not going to get a very angry man. No, it's the same guy again.
Not Rachel.
We're going to get that same guy again. He's going to freak out. It's not coming up. For whatever reason, it's not coming up with the right number. I keep saving the right number. You know what? Let's put in the number. Here we go. We're trying to get to you, baby. We're trying to get to you.
Start from scratch.
Okay. And then I swear I just saved it. I just put it in right and I saved it. All right, let's try this. Whoop, there it is. Elais, did I lose you? Okay, I lost Elais. It's this night.
Hello?
Is this Rachel?
It is.
Okay, hang on a second. I have to bring in my guest because somehow I accidentally hung up on my guest.
Oh, okay,
so,
no problem.
That's interesting. Okay, so I have to call okay. Goodness gracious. How are you, my friend? It's great to have you on the show. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Could be better, but I'm doing okay.
I'm so sorry. We're working on getting you. I don't know why it keeps calling this other number for you. And
I know. When you said that, I was like, I don't understand because I know I text, from my phone number, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? All right. So here's what so tell me what's going on with you while I get Elais in, because what I have to do right now is I've got to actually program her into the system so she can be the person. I have to call her the way I called you by programming her into the system because, it's crazy here in Skype land. So what's on your mind, my friend? We'll get her caught up when we get her on.
Okay. Well, I would say for me right now, my biggest struggle is I have been going through off and on a breakup, a bad breakup or a bad end of a relationship. I don't know exactly what to even classify it as.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A detoxification? Is that a good way to put it? It's a detoxification?
Yeah.
Right, because you're detoxifying. Welcome back, Elais. You're detoxifying from a very negative person, right? This is Rachel, and she's detoxifying from a very negative person.
We found Rachel. Yeah. I don't know what happened to me. It
was my fault. It was me and my chubby thumbs. I accidentally hung up on you. Then because I took Rachel's call, I had to put you in the system. It's like a whole thing. So it was a whole thing. Oh yeah,
because it still says that I'm on hold from before. So I can talk to you on either space.
Yeah, it's you can pick at this
Anyway,
point.
all right. So what's happening? What did I miss?
So Rachel is detoxifying from a very negative person, and she was trying to put it in a really nice way, and I unfortunately said it in the true way.
Oh yeah, you can just Google it. That's always best. Call it what it is.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate what it is, to be honest.
Well, it happens to the best of us.
Well, so the issue for me is that I am having a hell of a time letting go.
Okay.
I have several reasons, to just dismiss this relationship. But I'm holding on. For one, I love this person, okay? And I had all the ideas of a future and, all the stuff that comes with it.
Sure.
For the last couple months that I know of, that I've been aware and had my eyes open, I've seen things in the relationship that are not healthy. To be honest, I've suffered a lot of mental abuse. I've just learned what a narcissist is.
Yeah.
And
that you live with
who
one.
I'm with.
Mm-hmm. Right,
to
exactly.
A T,
sure you are. Uh-huh.
Now, the thing is he does a lot of back and forth head games.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yes.
he tells me he loves me, and I'm going to be honest, and maybe I sound really stupid, but I believe him for the most part. I believe because I know that I've put a lot into the relationship, so of course I feel like, well, how couldn't he love me? Shit, I do everything for him. I mean, I'm definitely always there for him and his kids. We've been through a lot in the year in our relationship. We have been through a lot. And the thing is he tells me, every other day he loves me, he misses me and whatnot. But then when we're together, it's a lot like he really just makes me feel, for one, I'm very unimportant. Everybody comes before me, friends, acquaintances, like stuff that shouldn't come, before me. That's one thing. And then he just really has no time for me. And we're talking about a man who is unemployed, and he doesn't have like any hobbies or any, there's no reason why he doesn't have time for me. We live 5 minutes apart or away from each other. So he just doesn't have a lot of time. He makes me feel like I'm always bothering him.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's convenient for him, then he wants me around.
Right. Sure.
And I've come to notice all of these traits with him. However, I don't want to let him go. We've been broken up. Supposedly it's our official real deal breakup since last Saturday. Okay. And I am having just the hardest time getting over it. And then, he still pops in and tells me, for instance, today, he tells me how much I mean to him, and he still loves me, and I'm the only woman in his life. We just need time, and I don't know how to accept that. And people around me are like, you need to let him go, period, point blank. He's abusing you. He's putting you through all this pain and suffering. But I'm like, well, maybe I could still make it work, and maybe if I just give him time, or maybe, I've been bending over backwards. I've been doing everything. Okay, fine, you want time, I'll give you time. Okay, you want this, okay, I'll give you this. You want me to take the abuse, okay, fine, I'll take the abuse, just as long as you still, keep me or love me.
I know, honey.
So
I know. Oh, my goodness, I know.
My main question is, am I holding on because I like to trick myself and think, well, there's a reason that I'm still holding on. There's a reason, and I bring God into it. There's a reason God has me holding on to him, because maybe after all this chaos, maybe we are supposed to work out.
No.
Maybe he will change, or he does love me, but I don't know. I feel stupid.
All right,
I'll be honest. I feel stupid.
I'm going to take this one, Ellie. So here's the thing.
You might get two different things from us, right?
Here's the thing.
I'm talking about approaches, like we talked about.
Here's the thing, sweetheart.
Go ahead.
First of all, you have to remember, with a narcissist, you're not in love with him. You're addicted to him, and I know that is hard. but think of him like a big old, thing of chocolate chip ice cream or a big old line of Coke. That's what he is. He's pushing all of your buttons to make you feel like you're dependent upon him. And if you looked at it from an outside, if he was your friend's boyfriend, you would be like, oh my God, seriously, get rid of this guy. But because he's pushing all of your fear buttons and all of your weaknesses and all of your want buttons, he's turned you into somebody that you don't recognize. Now, I've been there. I've been in this relationship, and it took me almost 12 years to get out of it. So I speak as somebody who I am not going to judge you or tell you when you need to go or when you need to leave him. You will know when the time is right. Just know that he loves you, but his idea of what love is and your idea of what love is are two different things. So he loves you like a shark loves a seal pup. Like, you know what I mean? You serve a purpose. You're a meal. So that's how he loves you. And of course, when he thinks you're going to go, he runs to you and tells you he can't live without you because you're his host. So for him, it's all about feeding off of you. If you want to be around him and have him be more manageable because you're not quite yet ready to go, then you have to set boundaries. You have to start ignoring him. You have to stop giving him energy. As long as you're begging him to do, what can I do? What can I say so you'll still love me? He will have zero respect for you because basically at his core, he hates himself. So he hates you for loving him. It's like I wouldn't belong to a club that would have me as a member. That's what it is. You want to be in his club, so he has no respect for you. He has respect for the friends and the other women and all these other people that he feels like he has to impress to get. But because he knows he can have you no matter what, he treats you like you're last. So if you want to keep him around and make him behave, because I am not here to tell anyone to break up with anyone ever, how you have to do that is you have to put him at a distance and make him always be like on a short leash trying to get to you. And then he'll behave. It's not love. It's like it's like having a zombie from Walking Dead in your backyard. Like you can make it behave on a leash, but still if you cut the leash, it'll eat your brain. I mean, you're not really, it's just corralling the behavior, but it does work. And if it takes that for a little while until you get healthy, then by all means do that. But the worst thing you can do is beg him and tell him you love him. And let me tell you something. I was in a relationship with somebody who about every 4 days threatened to break up with me. And it was always, you're a terrible person and you're this and you're fat and you're ugly and nobody likes you. And what's wrong with me that I would want to be with somebody so stupid? And I think you might be retarded. I mean, it was everything you could imagine. And the one time after 8 years that the breakup came and I said, you know what? I think that's a really good idea. Why don't you go? It was never brought up again. 3.5 more years of that relationship, never one time was it ever brought up again because I called the bluff.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to leave. They want to stay and eat your soul and make you feel like shit. And that's the game for them. Why they're like that, where they come from, who knows? Who knows why they're like that? That's above my pay grade. And let me tell you something. The universe, the positive universe, the light, does not want you to be in this relationship, but understands that you have to grow and love yourself enough to get out of it. But don't ever think that God wants this for you, because narcissists are not of God. I don't know what makes them.
We don't call the person from that last relationship 666 for nothing.
My friends affectionately call my ex 666, and there's a reason why.
Yeah.
So, you just have, but I'm not anybody who's like, you got to go, because the thing is, the more your friends pressure you to break up with him, the more it martyrs him in your mind, and the more of a victim it makes him, and then you stay to defend him. So
and everybody around me, my mom, my best friends, my sisters, and then they bash him left and right, and I find myself like, well, no, it's not because this, it's because, well, no, and he really this, or and I defend him all the time, and even though I'm well aware of the shit he's pulling on me, you're so spot on. I mean, the second that I'm like, you know what, whatever.
Sweetie, hang on one sec. I'm going to let you go and call you back because you're breaking up super bad. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the call. We're going to be very crafty and tricky here. We're going to let you go. We're going to keep LA. We're gonna let Rachel go, and we're going to get her off the call. LA, do I still have you?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're gonna add her. Did I handle that okay? Was I too harsh?
No, I
Good.
thought that was great.
Okay, good. Okay, now
I expected you to be mushier and me to be more like what you did.
No, because I'm tough. I
this is
survived the
thing for you. I mean,
narcissist. I feel like I survived the Titanic sinking. All right, are you back with us, sweetheart?
Exactly. Right.
Yes,
I just have one thing.
Yeah, LA.
Oh, I was going to say I just have something to add because I agree 1,000% with everything that Sheena already said. But the one thing that you need to think about is are you so when you first met him, obviously he didn't treat you badly, right?
Charming.
Absolutely not. The first, oh my God, amazing! I was smitten after day 10. I was like, I'm so in love. I'm going to marry this guy.
Yep, it's my soulmate. Right. It's my soulmate. Yep.
Hold on. So this is what I want you to look at. Typically in situations like this, where somebody's still holding on, and like you asked, why am I still holding on?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is usually because you're still holding on to the fantasy of who you thought they were, because they presented themselves a certain way in the beginning. Because, as you've already identified, in this case, he's a narcissist, because they know how to present themselves as very charming and desirable and very caring until they lure you in, and then all of a sudden they show their true colors. So one of the biggest keys to letting go, when you really decide is to let go of that fantasy. Look at the actual track record, and once you realize it's like, okay, that was a game. I mean, and don't like beat yourself up for like falling for the game.
No.
Because that's not on you. It's not. It's not. I mean, what were you supposed to think, right?
Yeah.
So don't take that on yourself.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do anything wrong. I mean, this person treated you great, and you fell for him. I mean, anybody would, right? So that's what you need to let go of, is that fantasy that he can be something different. I mean, anybody can choose to be different, but his nature is not to be that person. That was something that he did for a short time,
right?
But it's not who he is.
Well, and it's like I said, it's like Walking Dead, right? There's always a storyline every couple seasons on Walking Dead where somebody decides they can change their loved one after they become a zombie, and they keep them like in the backyard, or they keep them on a leash, or they keep them in a box, and eventually they break out and they eat someone's brain. Because that's what a narcissist has, that sort of, it's like having a pet shark. I mean, you could keep a shark in a tank, and you could maybe find ways to get it not to bite you, but sooner or later it would just rip off a leg. And so
see, and what I was going to add was that in the beginning, the first couple months, I was in between him. I was dating him, but then I kept breaking up with him and getting back with my husband, because me and my husband were going through a separation, and I was confused because I'm like, well, I've been with my husband 9 years, so I kept going back and forth. I did this for a couple months, and I mean, he always uses that against me. Oh, well, I stuck around while you kept, going back to your husband and blah, blah, blah. So for all those months, he did everything to keep me here, to win me back to where I was like, oh my God, if I can't be with my husband, I need to be with him. He's the one. So it wasn't until 6 months into the relationship where I finally, that was the done deal with me and my husband. I'm like, that's it, whatever. So as soon, and I'm like, when I've looked at the timeline now, I'm like, oh my God, the second I let go of my husband, the second he knew he had me all to himself, all of this shit started. I'm like, not even exaggerating when I say it was literally spot on. When he knew there was no more challenge, or there was no more, there was nobody else threatening what we had, it's like all this shit started. And then that's when I started devoting myself, like really, really investing into the relationship, really investing into him. And I wanted to prove that I really loved him. So that's when I started, you know, like I said, bending over backwards. I mean, I threw myself into this like so hard. And the more that I love him and the more I give him and the more I do for him, the more he pushes me away. And I'm like, I don't understand how you could push me away. I do this for you. I do this. I've been
Doesn't
here.
care.
I've done that. Whatever.
Resents you for that.
And he's like, and literally tells me, blah, 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 cry me a river. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, how could you even talk to me like that? How could you treat me this way? Like, how could you look at me crying? How could you see the pain that I'm in? How can you do that? And in my face be like, yeah, okay. But when I'm like, dude, I'm good. Like, because there's days where I pick up and I'm like, you know what, F this and F you. I'm good. Like, I don't need you. And it's those moments every single time where he's like, but I love you and I can't ever let you go and you're always going to be mine. So I've seen that. And like I said, we've been broken up for a week. This is the longest we ever went without talking, without speaking.
Just ignore him. Put him on ignore.
Yeah, I was. And then yesterday, actually, I started getting that feeling like, well, why hasn't he called? Why hasn't he even tried? So today I reached out, and then the second I did, he was like, I've missed you. How come you haven't called me? I'm like, well, you know my number. And he's like, well, I've been waiting for you to call me, and just, I miss you so much, and I love you, and I love the girls. I have kids that are, you know, our kids are involved, and he's like, I love the girls. I miss you guys. So it's hard for me to think like, wow, he really is a narcissist. He really hates it, or, you know, is playing these games. I'm like, no, he really loves me. He's just a hard person to deal with. And I keep asking myself, like, am I willing to just live my life like this and be submissive and bow down to him and play his game and let him control me? Because I'm not going to lie, I used to be a really strong woman. And
well, I have a question for you, just real quick, because we talked about the fantasy, right, and letting go of that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that you need to think about is, what do you want to model for your girls?
Yeah,
who do you want to be for your girls?
So right.
What kind of relationship do you want them to grow up around?
Mm-hmm.
Because
and that's the reason I left my husband.
Because if you do it, they'll do it.
Yeah.
Right. And because if you do it, they'll do it.
Yep. Because my mom married a narcissist, and I got involved with one.
Yeah. If you want to find your strength in those moments where he's being so, think about, I don't want my girls being jerked around on Shane like this. I want them to be strong and live their lives and have a companion who's an actual companion.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, because my mom married a narcissist, and I turned around and got involved with one that was just like him. So.
Yeah.
Right. And my mom just never got married because, back in the day, it's like there was such a, thing. It's like, this is what men did and this is what women did. All this, and she was like, that's not who I am. She didn't want to be, the trophy wife or the whatever, when we were talking in the 60s. So, so my mom did the opposite. She just didn't marry anybody because she was like, and she stopped dating when I was around 6 or 7 because she was like, I'm not going to get married, and she didn't want there to be like a revolving door of boyfriends every couple years, You know
what, girls? We are totally out of time. Rachel, our hearts are with you. We love you. Keep us posted. And let us know if there's anything that we can do. Elais, where can people find you online?
Facebook, Elais Weiss, Elais, Weiss spelled the normal way, or email at heyla@gmail.com.
Beautiful. And if you missed that, raisingthevibrationradio.com, latalkradio.com. That's this show. The movement that started it all, raisingthevibration.org. I am raisingthevibration.com. And our online community is at thevibrationnation.com, and my spiritual practice at IamRaisingYourVibration.com and SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. Till we see you next time, seek peace, my friends. Live in love, lead with kindness, embrace unity, and always, always, always raise the vibration. Till I see you next Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. right here on Raising the Vibration Radio. I'm your host, Sheena Metal. I love you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for the great calls. Thank you, Elais Weiss, Lightworkers Unite. Thank you, Facebook Live. We love you. We'll see you soon.
You're listening to Raising the Vibration with Sheena Metal, only on LA Talk Radio.